Unanimous. Who says we can't work cross-party? Right, we shall move on to our next item of business, which is agenda item 16, exclusion of press and public.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a point of order under the Local Government Act 1972, paragraph 10 of Schedule 12. And it states, you see, it's very interesting because when you look on the online agenda... And
which point of order are we going with?
Well, the point of order under 3.1.168 says that when I raise the point of order, I have to give an explanation of why. And that's what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at the online element, you go to the Swale Council calendar, it says exclusion of the press, and it says under paragraph 1 of Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, the 1972 Act. However, if you then click down and to see the item 17 where it says waiver of the 6-month rule for a councillor, it then goes into, which I think is in the wrong location, because we have to decide whether this item is public or private. Is there an interest in the public, and does that interest in the public knowing outweigh the interest of confidentiality? And that's covered in paragraph 10, which basically says that information which falls into paragraphs 1 or 7 can be exempt information. However, we as members have to weigh that up. And I feel there's a great public interest to know if a councillor hasn't attended for 6 months and why. And what I'm baffled by is those member of Kent County Council who attended their full council on the 19th of September, they had an item there, a waiver, but that was in the public domain. And I've looked at many councils, Merton Council, Sheffield City Council, loads and loads of councils have it in the public domain. I think there is a public interest, because I could say, I'm laying at home with a bad back, and the public read that.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, point of order on this part. The member is now debating whether we should go into closed session or otherwise. It is not a point of order, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. We should move on.
I propose that we should have a vote on going into, on not going into public.
Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, go on.
That's what we would do.
Okay.
As a general rule, if everybody agrees to go into private session, we go into private session. That is the vote. So we don't need to go through that way.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
We're not going to keep going points of order and going and debating whether we go into private session or not. The simple basis is that individuals have a right to the protection of their data. There is data on blue paper which may be referred to in the item, which relates to special category information that even as political parties you would not be exempt from to hold. So do bear that in mind if you decide that you don't want to go into private session. It may well be that no one wants to propose or second the item that's in or due to be in private session. If no one does, there will be no debate. Just to make that very, very clear. So, members, would you like to protect yourselves under GDPR and go into private session?
Point of order, Mr. Mayor.
Government Act 1972, Schedule.
How can we be told that we are protecting ourselves under GDPR when other councils do it? That's what I want to know. That's where I'm confused. Why we're telling...
It's up to members to vote at this point in time.
But we've been advised.
Members, do you wish to go into private session?
Yes. Point of order. Point of order.
Right, I want a show of hands then. All those in favour of going to private session?
Can we have a recorded vote, Mr. Mayor?
Those against entering private session?
Sorry.
8, 9.
Any abstentions? Right, that's carried. We will be going into private session.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like it recorded how I voted in the minutes. Thank you.
I would like to have it recorded how I voted in the minutes. Thank you.
If it helps, I'll just say outright that everybody in the Swale Independent Alliance group voted not to go into the private session, and that can be, apart from Councillor Stephen, I think.
You're going to let the other two online members.
Yeah, so the online members are going to be allowed to stay. We're just going to take a few minutes while we make sure that everything else is off. Just waiting for a red light so I can say meeting closed now. The fridge is well stocked, by the way, if anyone wants to come by, and there are snacks. Excellent, there we go. So with that, ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining this evening. Have a wonderful, safe journey home and a lovely rest of the month. We'll be back for full council in December. Please do join me in the parlour. Have a lovely rest of the day.